Hello and welcome to Cindershadow Gaming. I'm your host Cindershadow, and today is This Week in Magic. Well, this week in Magic, I'm coming off a very difficult work shift, but there is so much going on with Magic the Gathering that I don't know if I can fit it all in one video. This is probably going to be today, and then I'll pick another topic tomorrow because what I wanted to talk about today was the fallout from the bannings, but because whenever there's a big banning like this or something like that, Wizards of the Coast decides to throw everything back at us and shows us more of the next set. So today is all about Strixhaven. I'll follow up with some of the stuff of the fallout of the bannings, which I do find very hilarious in a lot of cases. And I think you will too. And it's something to watch out for. I think that'll be the next video up the next day. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Strixhaven. There is so much stuff here. I'm going to try and go through it as quickly as I can because otherwise this is going to be an hour and a half long video, and I don't know if I want to make a video that long. Well, with Strixhaven, we kind of had an idea that there was going to be schools. This was based off Hogwarts. Kinda. You got to remember, Magic the Gathering was around a lot longer than Harry Potter. But they have always taken stuff from movies, lore, history, and everything like that. So this is just kind of giving more of an accent to Hogwarts overall. Anyway, they have the 5 colleges being released. Lorehold being the red and white version, which formerly is known as Boros, now being Lorehold, is going to be very interesting. Their motto is "Leave no stone unturned," and they give us a nice thing here. We've got the command series coming back in a lot of these. So it looks like there's 5 different commands, one for each school, which completely makes sense. This one is Lorehold command, 1 white, 1 red, 3 generic. For an instant, you choose 2 with these commands like they have been in the past. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste until end of turn. As an instant, that is going to be a muchly needed trick. Although for 5 mana, it's pretty beefy compared to the rest of them. So we'll see where this lands. Lorehold command deals 3 damage to any target. That player gains 3 life. Interesting. So whoever owns the target, target player gains 3 life. It would have been interesting if it was that player gains 3 life. That would have been interesting. Sacrifice permanents, then draw 2 cards. So sacrifice a permanent to draw 2 cards. That's quite interesting. That's not really a red or a white sort of effect. I guess it's kind of red, but even then, you usually sacrifice in black, and the drawing the cards is usually blue. So this is kind of diving towards white getting a card draw. That could be interesting. Sacrifice a permanent could also be a land or a token. So this might actually slot into a Jeskai build, a red, white, and blue sort of deck. So we'll have to wait to see for that one. Now we've got the Prismari, the Is It sort of looking guild, or now known as Prismari. Express yourself with the elements. And their command is a 1 red, 1 blue, 1 generic, so 2 mana cheaper, for a command that deals 2 things. It deals 2 damage to any target. Target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token or destroy target artifact. That'll be probably pretty useful overall. I could see those 2 being used together quite easily. Our 3rd school is Quandrix. Math is magic is their motto. Quandrix command, 1 blue, 1 green, 1 generic. So this is the new Simic, is now known as Quandrix. Their instant, return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. That is very nice that it doesn't have to be opponent, it's any target creature or planeswalker in a lot of cases. If you want to return your own planeswalker before your turn because his loyalty's been knocked down, or he just took an attack and you want to return him back and save him, that's going to be very useful. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Yeah, I'd rather see it destroy. With it being green in there, that wasn't that much of a leap to destroy target artifact or enchantment, because that is a highly green ability. The blue making it a counter, yeah, it would have been more interesting if it was counter something else. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature that's solely green. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their graveyard to their library. So the returning creature and the countering target artifact is the blue side, and the other side seems to be the green side. That's quite interesting. The next school is Silver Quill. Sharp style, sharper wit. So apparently black and white is supposed to be all about the wit. Yeah, I don't buy that. For 1 black, 1 white, 2 generic, you get all these guys standing. Looks like they control the sun sort of in the background there with the time dial that's going on there. I don't know if you can see it here. I might have to blow that up. Choose 2. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. For 4 mana, that's a decent trick. Return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, there's a lot of interesting talk about this mana value stuff going on right now. We've got converted mana cost and your mana cost of stuff. So we're yet waiting to see what mana value means. Is that going to be what it is on the stack now? Is this the new version of the converted mana cost, or is this going to be something completely different? Is this maybe after discounts what the value of the spells are? So if it was things are 1 mana cheaper to cast, then the mana value being 2 on a 3, where originally it was 3, now it's a 2. So we'll have to wait to see what this new terminology of this means, if they're just changing something or changing it, making something new. No one knows yet, because we'll have to wait to see. Target player draws 1 card and loses 1 life, or target opponent sacrifices a creature. Then we got Witherbloom, Get Your Hands Dirty, which is the black-green, and Witherbloom is quite the name for it, because that's pretty bang on for the way black-green has always been. So for 1 black and 1 green, you get the Witherbloom command, also a sorcery. Target player mills 3 cards, then you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with converted with mana value 2 or less. Target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn, and target opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. So it's got a drain for 2 and stuff like that. So what is exciting me about this is these new cards that are in here that look like masterpieces, but they actually aren't masterpieces. They look like they should have been a masterpiece, and they're not. So we've got a new demonic tutor, a new op, and a new swords to plowshares here. I absolutely love this art style. It is a very unique art style, and honestly, coming from a school of mages, would be quite interesting. So if anyone knows what demonic tutor, it's 1 black, 1 generic, sorcery that you search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is one of the original tutors in the game. This goes back a long time ago. I used to have a copy of this. Actually, I think I still do, but it is so beat up. It's not even usable. You know what? I don't know if I do. I know I have a regrowth, and I used to use the 2 together, but yeah, well, I'll have to dig through and see. Then we have Opt, 1 blue, scry 1, draw a card, and then the swords to plowshares, 1 white, exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. So the Mystical Archive is quite interesting. whatever area of study you would choose, you will have access to our vast library and resources with spells and knowledge spanning all of magic. Some spells are certainly too dangerous and too powerful for even careful mages, but at Strixhaven, we value knowledge above all else and thus have a library of historical spells to rival any other. This collection, housed in what we call our mystical archive, contains a litany of spells and simple-minded spells to powerful and deadly spells most shudder to look toward. We house them in our Biblioplex, and lucky us, Professor Onyx happens to be sifting through several tomes right here with students Rowan and Will. So that is a planeswalker from Throne of Eldraine. So that'll be interesting if we're getting Rowan and Will as one of the planeswalkers. Only students get a look. We will make an exception for today. Additionally, we have a significant portion of foreign language students. The Mystical Archive is available in all languages, but we have something special added for our Japanese students to learn more, blah, blah, blah. And we will get into those because those Japanese versions of these cards are something else. Tours End, you got a look at the way the things are. Details on Strixhaven, a few more to come. Commander 2021. There's 5 Commander decks: Silver Coil Statement, Prismari, Performance, Witherbloom, Witchcraft, Lorehole Legacies, and Quantum Quandrix. So that's interesting. We've got some packaging here, and you got Will and Rowan right on the cover there, so we know they're a Planeswalker in there. And then the set boosters, the theme boosters, the bundle, very much a lot there. Now, this is an important part. Mystical Archive details. They put this at the bottom so people maybe miss this. Naturally, wonders of our Biblioplex draw the most attention, and with good reason. We have a vast library of spells from throughout space and time, and we're granting access to 63 of these on your first trip to Strixhaven. First trip. They're going all out to make sure that we go back to Strixhaven. These spells come across time, so their inclusion in the Mystical Archive does not affect their format legality. These spells come from across time, so their inclusion into the Mystical Archive does not affect their format legality. Interesting. This means no Demonic Tutor in your standard tournaments, but if you open one up in Draft, Tutor away. So you're now going to open cards in Draft boosters that are not technically legal in standard. This is, I don't like this. That's not a good choice. Although everyone will want these, so I'm glad to pick up these draft boosters and open these packs and hopefully get these. Now, the biggest thing here is the Mystical Archive is open to all. You receive 1 copy from its own dedicated slot in each draft booster, each set booster, and 3, at least 3, in collector's boosters. That's insane. So in 36 packs in a booster box, you get 36 of these cards. That is absolutely crazy. This is going to be... They look like masterpieces, but now they're going to be in every pack, so they're not going to be as special as a masterpiece. But at the same time, they're going to confuse the hell out of a lot of people that do play Standard that are not allowed to use these cards in Standard. So I don't like that version of it. If you're going to put these in every booster pack, at least make it playable in Standard. Standard is a mess already, so why wouldn't you just put all these in there? This is going to make a lot of people very frustrated when they're opening packs in a store and they want to put these brand new specialty cards in their standard deck and they can't. It's going to be very difficult to see this. Now, how is this going to affect Arena? Are we going to see something like this in Arena? Also, there's many more questions here that will need to be answered. that was the same thing. And now for the Japanese version. The Japanese Magic the Gathering site has their own sort of thing there. We've got the 3 boosters, 3 packs again. However, this is the Japanese Dynamic Tutor. I am in love with these arts. This is something I want on a poster in my wall. I want to put this back to the Liliana that I have from the Japanese War of the Spark boosters, because these are absolutely something else. This is the Japanese art opt. I'm absolutely in love with these, and the Japanese version of Sword to Plowshares. This is like, what? When I saw these, my mind was blown. Like, I am in love with these. But now I'm stuck. Do I really want to look at the Japanese booster packs and once again have Japanese cards that I can't read? Or do I want English packs with English cards that I can read with still a different type of art? Like, oh, that opt is, oh my god, I want these so bad. Oh yeah, I'm it's something else. Okay, so that is the updates that we've gotten from Wizards of the Coast, but I've also got more. We've got a lot more. I've got some artwork here to take a look at. Okay, so I've got each symbol here. We've got the Lorehold symbol. That's their school symbol. The next one is the Witherbloom symbol. I really do like the flask. It's kind of neat. The next one is the Silver Quill symbol. Then we have the Quandrix. It kind of looks like a world trying to recycle itself. I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's very different. And then the Prismari, which really does kind of, to me, look like an Is It sort of thing. So that's quite interesting with the set, the school symbols. That's going to be interesting. This means when you see the stores, if you get to play in store, this would be like banners through the store. This would have been a high advertised thing in the store with all these banners, all these different schools. It would have been a lot of fun to play this one in the store, but unfortunately with the current world events, unless something changes here drastically in the next couple months where masks are removed, vaccines come out, then we'll have to wait to see. I do not suspect we will be playing in Paper Magic in the stores very soon. Bunch of the other stuff that we have here, we have booster packs. I have the boxes, pre-release kits stuff, which it looks like there's 5 different pre-release also. So this is a big one for everything that they've dropped. They do these big drops when ordering needs to be in for these stores, and I think that's why we're seeing all of this right now. On top of the recent bannings, they just to deflect from those bannings, this is a very good way to do that. So we have the Strixhaven foil promo pack here. Then I have the normal promo pack. We've also got the inside of the booster or the bundle. You can see at the top there, all the 5 schools are at the top. I do like this artwork. It's very, very neat looking to me. This sort of curtainy sort of look. I'm not entirely sure what you would call that. Okay, this is the collector booster, which is very interesting in itself. They're flipping through pages of a book, and then you have the collector's box, which once again is new artwork. I haven't really seen artwork like this from Wizards of the Coast, so this is going to be something else. The inside of the pre-release kits, there's 5 different pre-release kits, so that's going to be interesting. Now, some stores in the past with pre-release kits, they will let you pick which one you want, and I suspect this might be the way it is, because you're going to be picking them up and playing at home. When we did this in store, it was nice that they would randomize these kits and then you wouldn't really pick them, because the promo that was normally in these pre-release kits when they're mixed up like this was the school that you're seeing on the cover here, right there. It would be nice if they're completely random inside, because then people don't go after certain powerful cards that are with the color combinations. There's always a default there where there's certain color combinations and stuff like that that just are more powerful than others when a new set drops. So unless they're fairly balanced, which I highly doubt they will be with the new way that they do stuff, nothing is balanced anymore. So it'll be very interesting. So this is the Silver Quill pre-release kit. This is the Quandrix pre-release kit, the same art that we saw before. It's just interesting to see them in the actual kit. The Lorehold, the Witherbloom, and the Prismari. So it's the same artwork that we saw before, but the pre-release kit's on there, which is very interesting in itself. So other artwork here, it's all 5 of the students, I guess, that we're seeing on the pre-release kits. They put them all together on one poster. You've got the owls showing familiars. I wonder if we're going to have companions come back in this school, just because familiars, companions, they're kind of in line there. That would be very interesting. I hope not, because companions completely broke Ikoria, and I hope that they don't continue with that. But these sets are made months in advance, so they might be there. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more sagas in this set, and just to hear about the rivalries between the different schools and how they really do play out. To me, this picture looks like it's a student union meeting that there only a couple of them are talking, and they're trying to plan the school dance, but I don't think it's going very well. So as I'm going through more information as it's being dropped in my lap, I've got a tweet from MTG Arena account. The Mystical Archive will be available in Strixhaven drafts on Arena. A handful of these cards won't join Historic for power level reasons. We have more to share on previews beginning in March. Please note, Swords to Plowshares and Dynamic Tutor will not be legal in Historic. Opt, and most of the 63 Mystical Archive cards will be. So they've done similar things like this in the past with Jumpstart, where they swapped out the cards that won't be legal in Arena. So it's unfortunate. It would have been nice to see this sort of continue to go back, but I don't think Dynamic Tutor or Sword to Plowshares was ever an envision for Historic format, seeing it's supposed to come to parity with Pioneer at some point, and those are cards that are just not printed in Pioneer and will never be printed at that level, and more in the Eternal formats overall. Okay, so the one thing I gotta include in here, these are speculations. I don't know, I cannot confirm if these are real, but these look like leaks that we've seen similar in the past. We've seen Reddit posts where there's this text leak, and these to me do look like have a possibility of being true. Now, these are leaks, maybe. They're not confirmed. Anyway, we have Kazmina Honorable Perfect. Makes 100% sense that Kazmina is on Strixhaven, because I think that's possibly her home plane. We knew a little bit about her back in War of the Spark, and there was talk that Kazmina was going to be in Strixhaven a while back. So this is Legendary Planeswalker Kazmina. Whenever a wizard enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, then discard a card, and put a loyalty counter on Kazmina. I think that was the exact same ability, except they've added the loyalty counter onto Kazmina from War of the Spark. For her 0, she creates a blue 2/2 blue wizard creature token. I'm leaving that in. Which I think was the same thing once again. -3, return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands, and she has a 4 starting loyalty. Now she is 3 and 2 blue to cast. This is also a flip card, because the backside of it would be Kazmina's summons for 1 blue and 3 generic sorcery. Create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token, then draw a card for each wizard you control. It would have been interesting if Kazmina counted as a wizard. Like, that to me, should have been legendary creature, legendary planeswalker Kasmina. This also counts as a wizard, right? That should have been on the card somewhere if that was the case. Then Kasmina makes tokens and has cheap removal as her loyalty abilities, which is nice, and her backside is free gas for wizard decks. So that's just a comment that the poster put there. The next one that we have is Aflin School Econvolness. I can't even. I'm horrible at pronouncing words. 1 blue, 1 white, 4 generic legendary creature human wizard. Whenever Aflin or another non-token wizard enters the battlefield under your control, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. This is something we've had in the past, so this is what makes me believe that this has a lot more truth to it. Because this 3/3 colorless golem and wizards, this is something that we've had in the past. Golem creatures you control have flying as long as the wizard you control has flying. Same as THRU, yada, 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 for all the other keywords. And it's a 3/3. So I can see this solely being a creature in Strixhaven. It makes absolute sense to be there. Pour over the scrolls, 2 blue and 3 generic instant. Draw 2 cards. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in your hand without paying its mana cost. So this is one of the knocks that this might not be true with this new mana value that's going on, because they're talking about converted mana cost here. So there's still a lot going on. And then they also talk about mana cost. So mana value, if that is a thing, that might be a brand new term. And this is contradicting what it is. This could also be a very early version of the cards being leaked from, so it's going to be very interesting. Then we have Egg Observer, 1 blue, 1 generic creature, human wizard with level up. Level up would make more sense if it was in the D&D set, but with certain things, when they do these standard sets, they do them in such a way that they're all legal at once. So level up being one set removed from the D&D set does also make sense, either before or after. They've done this years in the past where they give you a little taste of what's coming up, and because a certain mechanic doesn't fit in the next set, they put it in a set before it or the set after. Now, one thing that I do suspect that we should be having here in the next couple sets will be -1/-1 counters, because we just had +1/+1 counters. And usually another set in standard will have -1/-1 counters. Anyway, with the level up, for one generic and 1 blue, put a level up counter only as a sorcery. Its first level is its flying 2/3. Second level, flying. Whenever it attacks, create a 2/2 blue Drake token with flying, and it's 3/4. And its third is flying. Tap, create a 2/2 Drake creature token with flying, and it's a 4/4 at that time, and it starts off as a 2/2. The level up mechanic, I wasn't around when they originally had that release, but it was something that did interest me back then, so I will be very happy to play around with those coming up very soon. And then in Strixhaven, it looks like we're getting Jin Gigantus, Sky Instigator, for 2 blue and 5 generic as a Phyrexian Praetor legendary creature. There is lots of talk that we're going to get Praetors or Phyrexians in the next few sets. I suspect they will skip the D&D set. However, this does make sense that it's going to be in there, because they've got to have a big baddie for these kids to go fight. And when we had Harry Potter, we had Voldemort. So this is going to be the set's Voldemort when it all comes down to it, or one of his minions, which Praetors, the way I understand them is each of them work off another Praetor. So it's going to be very interesting. For 7 mana though, this thing can't be countered in blue. That's going to be, when I saw that, when I first read this, I was like, I don't like this. And then you may cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn without paying its mana cost. No. If this is a thing, it will be banned straight up. Like, you're telling me for 7 mana first instant or sorcery spell each turn, I'm going to be able to cast an ultimatum for free. Like that, no. This better not be real. That's all I gotta say. Whenever an opponent casts their first spell or and sorcery each turn, counter that spell. Yeah, like, and it protects it. Like, it's a 5/7. I'm sorry. This thing can go away very quickly. If this actually is a printing and is in Strixhaven, it will need to be banned very immediately because people are going to cheat this into play. I'm already working on a deck to cheat things into play that has nothing to do with blue right now. So we'll be on the lookout for this very soon. Okay, everyone. Well, I got to wrap it up here. This has been a filled video of Strixhaven spoilers, leaks, everything to do with Strixhaven, which I didn't want that to be the entire thing of This Week in Magic, but it just happens to be. This all came out on Thursday. I'm going to have to make up a couple more videos, so do be on the lookout for those. I really got to do the followed of the bannings because a lot of the stuff that came out of that was absolutely hilarious, and maybe some other things during the week. You guys, thank you for watching. It means the world to me if you like and share the video out, and I will catch you all next time.